Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Rock, and in this video we're going to break down the first step of recovery, admitting that we are powerless. On other platforms like TikTok and Facebook, I'm dropping like short form videos, relatable content, but on this channel we're going to break down the AA book, other AA related materials, also NA and stuff like that, so you can get a deeper understanding of what recovery is all about. But today we're going to dive deep into step one. So make sure you guys like, follow, comment, and also subscribe so you won't miss the up and coming videos. Okay, let's get into it. Why recovery isn't just about quitting drinking and using drugs. Most people think recovery is just stop drinking and using drugs. The truth is, it's just the beginning, right? Because we have to define the difference between physical sobriety and emotional recovery or mental recovery, right? I'm going to reference out of the big book where it says the idea that somehow, some way, or somehow, someday we will control and enjoy drinking is a great obsession of most alcoholics and addicts. I'm going to use myself for an example. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for over 35 years. And I still remember early on when I went into recovery, I went into treatment, and I got out and I felt that as long as I stayed away from the drink or the drug, I'd be cool, right? I'd be able to smoke crack like a gentleman. I'd be able to drink alcohol like a gentleman, but it never panned out because I didn't understand that I had an illness. Once I start, I cannot stop. And it took me years going in and out of treatment, in and out of jails, in and out of institutions. I was even in the crazy house, right? Because I thought I could just balance out my life and smoke or drink on the weekends, and it never panned out. It never panned out. I went from drinking light alcohol to dark alcohol, right? From not lacing my cigarettes with that white stuff, right? And then just putting it up my nose. And then I got introduced to methamphetamines, right? And I thought methamphetamines was a drug from the gods. Because I did crack my whole life, right? So as you know, some of you guys know that, using crack, you're going to spend all your money, right? Because you're always chasing that euphoria from the first time that I used. That's what I did. I chased it for years and years and years. And I got introduced into methamphetamines, and the methamphetamines high lasted longer. So I was able to keep a few dollars in my pocket. I was able to keep some drugs in my pocket, and I was able to, sell some, right? Monkey selling bananas. I was able to do that for a period of time. So I was far-fetched from reality, thinking because I was able to keep money, right? I was able to be around other people and not go out and chase and steal and all that type of stuff as much as I did when I was on crack. I thought it was okay, right? I thought I would be able to manage my own life. But that was the craziest thing I could ever think, because I was so fogged up in the brain, I thought that was a solution to an inside problem. And it took me years. It took me to the point for me to be homeless for 9 years, right? 5 of those years, my family thought I was dead. Most of my family are from Chicago, and I was all the way in California. And I lost contact with them. I was off the grid, right? For a long period of time, because I thought if I wasn't in their lives, I couldn't be a Tasmanian devil and destroy their life. Stealing money out their pocketbook, out their purses, stealing TVs, stealing microwaves, stealing all this bullshit, breaking into people's houses. I thought if I stayed away from them, I was doing okay. I'm not harming nobody but myself. But it was all bullshit. And I'm going to read a little bit more from More About Alcoholism. It's on chapter 3. And just like I stated, it said, the idea that somehow, someday we will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. I did that for years. I just explained it to you. I tried it for years, right? But I never came to the point where I was able to manage my life and use drugs and alcohol. Never. All I did was destroy everybody in every relationship that was around me, lost jobs, lost apartments, and I lost myself, right? And it also goes down to say in the second paragraph, we learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost self that we were alcoholic or addicts. This is the first step in recovery. And concede, I looked up concede in the Big Book Dictionary, and concede means to admit, to agree with, accept, to acknowledge, to show all through, often amidst one's will that one agrees to or with something, right? Basically what that means is that I had to concede to my innermost self, right? I had not just understand from my lived experience or life experiences that I couldn't drink or drug and still manage my own life. I had to fully concede inside myself, inside my soul. I couldn't just think it and understand it. I had to know for sure that if I pick up a drink, I'm going to destroy myself. Before I blow out that smoke, I'll be homeless. Recovery equals lifestyle change, new habits, new people, new mindset. I had to have a psychological change. I had to have a renewing of the mind, right? I had to be around people like myself that understood me, right? I had to be around people that was in recovery that's walking the same path. I had to have a different lifestyle, right? I had to start going to meetings until they started making sense. Now I love going to meetings, right? I love everything about a meeting. I love my home group that I go to, that when I go there every Tuesday, you know, we all go through shit during the week. But when we show up for each other at that home group, and I see the 15 people, the core people that is always there, I see that we still here. I always tell them all the time I love them and show them that, you know, thank you for showing me that this shit is still working, right? Because if they showing up and I'm showing up, that means it's still working. I'm not in the crack house. I'm not in the dope line. I'm not at the liquor store. We here, we cease fighting anything because we get a chance to live life on life terms without the use of drugs and alcohol. Mental obsession will exist even when clean. Why tools, meetings, sponsor, prayer, service are needed, right? The mental obsession still will be there no matter how long you got in recovery. One of my friends, very dear to my heart, she had 22 years sober. And she told me a story how she went to not McDonald's, but Popeyes, and was in a drive-thru. Gave the lady the money for the food, and the lady gave her a $10 bill back. A crispy $10 bill. And she said for a second, her brain or the disease in her brain told her that, girl, you can get you a bag with this. Astonishing. She had 22 years clean. But it's not about what our disease put in our brain, because I have a illness of the brain, right? I have a thinking problem. Just because that thought comes into my mind, or that thought came to her mind, that means she had to act on it. She didn't act on it, right? She just told me the story, and she said she bust out laughing how after 22 years, she still have these thoughts, right? So anybody, you know, watching, if you got these thoughts or anything like that, it's going to happen, right? Learning from other experiences, knowing after having a long period of recovery, we still going to have these thoughts, right? It's just like this guy told me one time, if you take a horse jockey, and he stopped being a horse jockey, and now he's a school teacher, guess what? He's still going to think about riding horses because he did it for so long, right? So it's kind of challenging for us to stop these thoughts, because we can't. It's just all about the action that we put in after we have these thoughts. And for me, when I get into those thoughts or those conflicts of emotions, I do what they told me. We have some tools here, right? We got to make meetings, right? I do meetings, you know, 2-3 times a week. I talk to my sponsor every other day, right? Prayer and meditation early in the morning, right? Before I head out and have to navigate through the world and other people, I have to pray and meditate, right? We got daily reflections. We got Jesus Calling. We got different books that we can read. And it's very important for me to pray, right? So I suggest anyone to pray and meditate before you start your day, right? Service work. Service work for me is very important, right? Anytime anybody from one of the rooms asks me to come out and speak, I don't care what I'm doing. As long as I have that slot open in my schedule, I'm going to speak, even when I don't feel like it, because I know this is going to help me stay sober. Because for me to keep it, guess what? You're right. I got to give it away. And I love giving it away, right? The spiritual piece, connection, humility, honesty, right? Just talked about that, the spirituality part of it. Going through my day when I got things that I know I can't change, right? We got the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? I cannot control other people. I can't control situations most of the time, right? Only thing I can control is the way I respond to life. So I pray that prayer and I keep it moving. I let God do his thing in the background, because God always got our backs, right? Growth equals learning to live life sober, right? Relationships, stress, joy, right? Relationships is a great part of recovery. Venturing out and meeting people in recovery, or just other people, and fellowshipping with them without the use of drugs and alcohol. Early on in recovery, I didn't know I could have fun without drugs and alcohol, right? It's awesome, right? I get a chance to go to basketball games. I get a chance to go to the museums, go to the parks, go to barbecues, and enjoy family. You know, they might be doing their thing on the side, but I ain't got to participate in those extracurricular activities, right? And it's a beautiful thing. I can just sit back, enjoy life, have memorable experiences sober. And that's the great thing about being in recovery, right? I get a chance to enjoy people, right? Stress. Too blessed to be stressed. And I get a chance to wake up with some joy in my life. I get a chance to go to sleep with some peace too as well. And I love recovery, right? As long as I continue to do these things, or we continue to do these things that they ask us to do or they suggest for us to do, we can continue living have long-term recovery, right? And one thing I state to people all the time is that when a person suggests something to me, I trust their judgment. Somebody that's in recovery, it's not a suggestion from me. It's a must do, right? Because if they suggest it to me, it's something that I need to do in my recovery, and I just do it, even if I don't understand it. And 9 times out of 10, it works out for the best for me. Now we're going to wrap this up. We're going to talk about recovery is building a new life, not just subtracting the old one, right? A lot of times I want to just like forget about my past, right? Things start cropping up because we do the 4th and the 5th step with a sponsor or our idea, right? But things still crop up, right? Things I feel ashamed of, things that I'm resentful of, things that I'm sorry for, right? And I get these emotions tied to them, right? But we also have steps related to that where I make amends, right? But I have to continue to live life, right? And that's the best thing to help other people that's new in recovery and also that want to get into recovery, is just to stay sober. Because one day we're going to have people walk up to us, which I have it all the time. Like, how did you do it? That I can share my experience, strength, and hope, and show them that, you know, recovery is possible for them. But there's going to be some work you got to put in. There's some action. It's not one of those things we can use God as a genie in the bottle and say, God, please take this taste of alcohol and drugs out of my mouth. He will do that. God will restore us from a hopeless state of mind and body. But after that is done, a session will be lifted. But after that is done, there's some work we have to put in, right? And that's where the steps come in for me. I believe in all forms of recovery. I don't care about medically assisted recovery. I don't care what you're doing. Some people have different views on it, right? I don't care as long as a person is working to be a better person. And that's what I'm here for, to share my experience, strength, and hope, to help other people and show other people that there is another life, right? We are so blessed. I'm so blessed to be able to live 2 lifetimes in one, right? I got my past life, which I went through, right? Now I get a chance to live life on the other side, right? And by me going through what I went through, I get a chance to show other people that recovery is possible. We'll do my best to put out a video every week, 1 or 2 videos every week on this channel. If you guys want me to hit on certain topics, leave comments down below. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share this with people that you care about. Rock, Recovery Coach. Peace.